It's kind of a very rudimentary thing in the film industry. The movies or shows that don't have any big names in them often get lost in the concourse of content. Like those, I watched a series and a movie recently released on the OTTs. And this is point of view on both the products that I'll be discussing in this video. I'll break down the good, the bad, and the verdict in this video so you can make an informed decision about whether this movie and this series deserve your time or not. Stay till the end. First, the Prime Video release show KHAUF. I don't think the industry has any idea of how much the audience does crave a no-nonsense horror thriller. Every year, at least one Hollywood movie does business with their horror product in India, and we barely produce any novelty in this genre. In the past few years, only Shaitan did that on behalf of this industry, which wasn't even an original product. But yes, the numbers showcased how hungry the audience is. And this Prime Video show actually generated the curiosity within me while I watched the trailer of it. It promised very gritty and disturbing visuals along with the finest sound designing. If I start with the good, then the sound designing will be the top of my list. I'll recommend watching this with your headsets on. How beautifully those were designed and succeed to create the discomfort and fear with the scenes. Even to make it more terrifying, the voice of Rajat Kapoor's character was distorted, which seemed like it came from another realm. Bigna Dahal did a tremendous job here. The subplots that the makers choose are very reckoning. The way they have showcased the circumstances around a woman is truly horrifying. You can't even imagine how gruesome that is on a day-to-day basis. And these kinds of things are actually happening in our society, which is more disturbing. Whether in the public transport or in the hostel or even in their own houses, through the lens the makers portrayed their situations here as truly terrifying. The overall casting of this series is absolutely perfect. Monikapanwar and Rajat Kapoor delivered a stellar performance here along with the whole girl gang in this series, which has filled with talented individuals. The atmospheric horror worked here hilariously. The story revolves around a hostel room but reflects its darkness to the society, and the climax, where the whole fragmented story puts together, forms a purely evil narrative. I found the climax is heavily inspired by the 1920 movie, and how the subplot injected in that portion was praiseworthy. It's a long scar that this show conveys with its portrayal of day-to-day life, which creates fear of being in there. The makers understood that well and provided this series. We often misunderstood the unusual with the fear of our superstition, which is the main culprit in life. The amalgamation of Evil Dead, Exorcism, Lights Out and Dubbe, along with the finest possible sound design, made it worth watching. I'll highly recommend this to watch. The next will be the TVF production house movie Logout, with Babil Khan in the lead. Mainly focuses on an influencer, Pratyush, whose whole world is around his cell phone, which is suddenly stolen by one of his fans, and how that leads to becoming a puppet show forms the basic narrative of Amit Golani directed, Babil Khan led thriller Logout, available on Z5. This movie is a reflection of this current world, where we live within the boundaries of our gadgets and the problems around it. This movie focuses on that issue. This is a good thriller. Not like there haven't been any other movies like this present, but yeah, the presentation of it was truly gripping. The thriller portion worked here beautifully. Apart from his pick-me nature, I truly like Babil as a performer, and he nailed it here as well. The movie entirely focused on him, and what these kind of movies actually do with their main character demands a very vast range, and he pulled off the characterization amazingly. This character also has layers, and those portrayals were executed finely by Babil. We often create a bubble around our gadgets, and we don't want to get out of that because this bubble works as our comfort zone. And when anyone tried to invade that place, people often reacted violently. Just imagine yourself for a day without your mobile. You will feel like such a boring, dull person who couldn't even eat without it. That's with me too. So simple. We couldn't even remember our own numbers in an emergency situation. So, what are these gadgets actually doing with us? Simplifying our day to day lives or getting us used to staying in front of them? This is the question this movie raised in the end. This is the reality of most of us. I'm trying to rectify this habit of mine when I find this is getting out of hands. There's more life to this outer world than the screens. We need to acknowledge the fact, then only we can move on. Our social media life is so fabricated that we sometimes do over to present ourselves in real life. Both lenses are polar opposite, where we have to be aware of the fact that we can't accommodate that hashtag life in the real one. These are my point of view on both the very realistic day-to-day life things available on respective OTTs. What are your thoughts on these? If you have watched any, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. See you at the point of view.